Let's face it, making TikTok content is fun, it's creative, and it can grow a following faster than any other platform in the world. But now what we really want to know is how we can make some money from it. Well, you're in luck. This module is all about making some moolah as a TikTok influencer. When we talk about TikTok influencers, we're really talking about those people who operate their TikTok accounts so successfully that people take notice. People sign up as followers in large numbers, they watch these people's videos, they share them, they like them, they comment on them, and all this engagement in turn makes these influencers even more popular. But how much can you make per post? Well, let's check out the Influencer Marketing Hub TikTok calculator to find out. A flow-on effect of TikTok's success is that businesses start to take notice of you too. They'll look at the large audience of enthusiastic followers and want a big part of the action. They're often prepared to pay to gain access to these followers. So you can see from the calculator just how much TikTok could really change your life. So let's bring in Shelby to explain some more.
Analytics help you know whether you're succeeding and meeting the goals you set. There's no point in setting goals if you can't compare your actual results with your targeted results. Otherwise, how could you know if you met your goal or not? So let's dive in. If you have changed to a pro account, you now find the option to view analytics. Tap on your view analytics option and TikTok will display a page showing an overview of your analytics. This gives you top level data relating to your video views, followers, profile views between the last 7 to 28 days. Now remember that TikTok doesn't keep your data for more than 4 weeks. If you're using a desktop version of TikTok for this, you can download the data as a CSV file. Doing this each week is really worth it because you can see longer term patterns. Be patient. It may take a few days before your data actually shows up in your account. The overview screen shows you the total video views you've gained in the last 7 to 28 days, or your total followers and profile visits, broken down day by day and how many times your TikTok profile was viewed over the past 7 to 28 days. The next screen you'll see is the content screen. This will help you understand which videos your followers are engaging with the most. You can either see video posts or trending videos. Video posts are the top 9 videos that you posted within the last 7 to 28 days, with the fastest growth on views. Now, trending videos shows which of your videos has been trending on the For You page for this period and their total number of views. You may have posted trending videos in previous period, but they still may be popular. You can tap the thumbnail of any video shown here to gain further information relating to it. This will give you very detailed information about the performance of each video. As an up-and-coming influencer, it's important to know what content generates the best results. You can use this as a guide for future content to post. Finally, the last tab on the analytics screen is followers. This gives you a breakdown of the types of people who follow you. Pay attention to this, because this is your target audience. You should check this every so often to see if your followers match up with the audience that you're trying to attract. If it doesn't match, you might be making the wrong types of videos and they aren't attracting the people that you want. When setting your posting schedule, ask yourself, when is the best time to post on TikTok? It won't be easy, but after time, you'll figure out what time to post best suits your content. You can find a lot of stats and ideas to post for various social platforms, but these aren't always accurate because trends are always coming and going. The 2 main questions that you should ask yourself is, where is my audience located and what time will they be awake? TikTok is used worldwide. If you have a global audience, it will influence how much content to produce and when to post it. Time zones are important to follow because each one have different times when content is viewed the most. Your analytics show how many followers you have, their gender split, and most importantly, the top location your followers come from. You can find all of this by tapping on the followers icon. Once you've figured out where your audience is, now it's time to figure out when they're awake and when they're watching TikTok. Although this may seem complex, it's actually really easy to determine the time zones. For example, if you're in Thailand and you have tons of followers in India and Thailand, there's only around an hour and 30 minutes in time difference to consider. With that time difference being small, your posting schedule won't be disrupted. Now, on the other hand, if you have a large audience in North America and the UK, that's different. You'll need to plan and schedule content around an 8-hour time difference.
Wonderful stuff. It's worth noting that as easy to schedule your TikTok videos as it is on other social platforms, most of the big social scheduling tools have yet to add TikTok. Social Pilot, however, has added it to the apps that it works with. Social Pilot's TikTok scheduling ability lets you streamline your posting schedule and ensures you never miss out on posting. You could use it to seamlessly schedule your TikTok posts to appear in your target audience feeds while they're online too. So how do you work with brands? There are 2 obvious ways to set up an influencer marketing arrangement with a business. In most cases, brands will approach you. They'll have noticed your standing on TikTok. Your influencer status may have even propelled you onto one of the influencer platform databases. Alternatively, the brand may have done its homework and someone in its firm may have noticed you on TikTok. This is probably the most common way that a partnership will begin. We'll look at this in more details in the next module, which will focus more on influencer marketing from the brand's point of view. The second, less common way involves influencers being proactive and making themselves known to brands. Here, influencers make it clear that they're willing and able to collaborate in influencer marketing campaign. The obvious advantage of making a pitch is that you can choose the brands who you want to work with. Remember, consumers are more likely to buy a product from someone based on trust, not the size of their following. You can stress to brands how much your TikTok audience trusts your judgment. To begin the process, you'd start by researching relevant brands, those businesses you kind of would feel comfortable promoting. Look at their social media accounts, both on TikTok if they have them, and other platforms. Search for any relevant hashtags about their business on TikTok, guessing obvious ones if you don't know any for sure. One of the things you're looking for is evidence of existing influencer arrangements. You're particularly on the lookout for evidence that they have some presence on TikTok, either an official company account or they've got previous marketing campaigns there. There's pretty much no point pitching to someone who just uses Instagram. Just as brands look for influencers whose audience match their target market, the same needs to happen when influencers research potential brands with whom to collaborate. Don't waste your time pitching to a firm who targets a totally different group of people than your typical followers. You won't be able to help them meet their goals. This assumes that you know and understand your target audience, which is another reason to study the follower section, which we spoke about earlier. Brands will particularly want to know your top audience location, your average age groups, and the gender split. Continue to work on improving your personal brand. Work on everything we've talked about previously and improve your overall image on TikTok. Take every opportunity you've got to grow your network, leverage connections you make, and connections of connections both on and off TikTok. When you've selected some brands to approach, reach out to them by email. However, you need to be strategic with these emails. Businesses get hundreds, even thousands of unsolicited emails every day. You might already notice as an influencer that something similar is happening to you. You often leave many emails totally unread and only open the ones that look that important. One important piece of homework you need to do is to determine to whom you're sending your emails. Nobody likes generic emails. You've probably received them addressed to Dear Sir or Madam, and then you send them straight to the trash bin unread. It is vital that you address your emails to specific named people. This might take a little bit of research, and the way you do this is begin by looking at the contact details on their website and social accounts. You'll usually be looking for someone in their marketing department. You could look on LinkedIn for names of marketing people in the organisation. Once you have the relevant names, you'll have to find the right email addresses. If you're lucky, you can find them on the website or on their LinkedIn. Check out a website called hunter.io. You might find this pretty helpful. Alternatively, you might have to send to more generic addresses asking for the correct contact details. You might even be able to guess the person's email address just by analysing others you find from the organisation. For instance, you might just notice that everyone's email address starts with the first name and at the company. I wonder if Jeff Bezos is just Jeff at Amazon. Make sure your email is short and to the point. You need to give it a header that makes your purpose very clear. Then get straight to the point in the body of your email. Explain what you want and why the business should consider collaborating with you. Explain who you are and how you can help the brand achieve its goals. Don't talk about what you want to start off with. They need to know what's in it for them. Remember to finish with a call to action too. What do you want the business to do at this point? You want to give them specific tasks to complete. For example, if you want them to reply to your email, ask them to. If you want them to check your TikTok videos, give them the link to follow that they can click on in their email so they don't have to go searching your name. Make it easy. Above all else, make the email personal. You can't make your email sound generic at all. No one wants to communicate with a robot. At this point, you should wait a few days for a reply from the brand. If you don't hear anything back after 3 to 4 days, then feel free to send a short reminder email. And if you still don't hear anything, well, you can probably assume that the brand isn't interested in collaboration and move on to the next firm on your list. If you do come to an arrangement with a brand to collaborate with them in influencer marketing, it's essential that you agree upon the rules. Now, the brand is likely to present you with an influencer contract, which will probably look terrifying. We'll look at what these include in more details in the next module. The important thing is that you read it carefully and note any requirements. If you don't like it, possibly considering it too prescriptive, be prepared to make some changes before you sign it. If you can't ensure that the contract is acceptable, be prepared to walk away from the relationship. So how much do you ask for? Possibly the hardest part of negotiation will be coming up with a suitable price. Of course, if you already have been influencer marketing for a while, you have an idea of what you're worth. Some businesses will also have a set pay scale, which you can either accept or walk away from. Some brands don't pay cash for influencer marketing, they simply offer free products. This might be fine if you're in the early days, particularly if you like the product in question, but it all comes down to the personal value that it gives you. The more popular you are, the more followers, and in particular higher engagement, the more you can expect to charge. One talent agency, Business Entertainment, said that it charges brands 1 to 2 cents for each sponsored video view on TikTok. Unfortunately, since the app is still relatively new, influencers and brands have yet to find a standard price structure for sponsored content. Some creators charge a flat fee for each sponsored post too. In some cases, the method of charging relates to the brand's goal. For example, if the purpose of an influencer campaign is to drive downloads of a particular app, you might be able to negotiate a rate for each person who downloads that app in a set time frame. Another thing to consider is ensuring you meet the Ftc guidelines. This will generally be the case for all influencers. Even if you aren't based in the USA, authorities in other territories have also taken a close look at influencers and are determined that all sponsored posts are transparent to everyday users. The Ftc has, as recently as February 2020, made a statement on the issue. They even highlighted the recent growth in TikTok, so you're going to need to be keeping an eye out here. Their views are very clear in this document. If you as an influencer pretend that you're giving personal views, but have really received money for advertising, then they consider it illegal. Uh-oh. That doesn't mean that you can't negotiate with brands and receive payment from them. However, you must disclose the facts. While it appears the FTC is targeting the businesses rather than the influencers, it's important that influencers do their part correctly. After all, the posts are made from your account in your name. It's you who must keep face with your followers. By the way, you may not have heard of the term astroturfing, but the FTC used it in their statement. Astroturfing is the deceptive practice of presenting an orchestrated marketing or public relations campaign in the guise of unsolicited comments from members of the public. What does that mean? Well, basically, if you're being paid to promote, you need to say it. So how should you handle these guidelines once you've signed a contract? For a start, go to the FTC website and search for Disclosures 101 for social media influencers. This tells you what you should do to cover yourself. The 2019 Ftc Endorsement Guidelines shift the focus onto influencers and the responsibility to understand the Ftc Disclosure Guidelines when partnering with brands. There are 3 key principles to these guidelines. Disclosure should occur when there's a financial, employment, personal, or family relationship with a brand. Disclosure placement should be hard to miss. Disclosure language should be simple and clear. Put your disclosure where it's hard to miss. It could be placed within the endorsement message itself. You could slap it in the middle of the video if you like, but we wouldn't do that. There are 2 possible situations where you may need to make a disclosure on TikTok. If making an endorsement in a video, the disclosure should be in the video and not just in the description, uploaded with the video. However, TikTok overlays its description on top of your videos as it plays, making it simple enough to make something like #ad or #sponsored pretty visible. If making an endorsement in a live stream, the disclosure should be repeated periodically so viewers who see any part of the stream will get that disclosure. I honestly don't think I've ever seen anyone do this, so jury's out, but do it. While we're looking at disclosures, you might want to add a content disclosure if your video depicts anything dangerous that your audience shouldn't imitate. When Red Bull, for example, shares videos following stunts or more extreme sport actions, they include a note at the bottom that says this action in the video could result in serious injury. Whew, legal pot over. Do rewatch that section if you have any questions. You don't want to end up in the slammer. So let's move on to agents. We mentioned earlier that some influencers work with talent agencies. You will, of course, already have to be reasonably successful to consider this option, but it can be an excellent way to advance your personal brand. There are many TikTok and other social media talent agencies out there. You'll need to weigh the cost of joining an agency with the extra revenue they can help you earn. Some typical advantages of influencer talent agencies include they often guarantee your pay and ensure companies uphold their contracts. Many of the agencies double up as influencer agencies. This helps give you access to exclusive campaigns and sponsorships you wouldn't have otherwise. Access to managers who can guide you along the way, advise you, and answer any questions or concerns you might have. They can set you up with everything you need to sell your own merchandise too. Okay, so hopefully you've realized that when you start making money from this, there is a serious side to it, and you need to start thinking of yourself as more of a business than an individual. It might sound daunting, but I'm sure you'll adapt with no problem at all. So our next module will look at influencer marketing from a brand's point of view. Now, don't ignore this if you're an influencer or somebody who may become an influencer one day, because influencer marketing is a two-way activity, and much of the material we cover in this next module is just as relevant to influencers as it is to businesses with whom they work. And make sure you check out the interview with Shelby about working with agents after this, all taken from our own personal experience.